Let's see.
Powering on. Ready to pair.
Don't worry, I'm pairing with you soon enough. Ready to pair. Hey Santana, what's going on, buddy? Just trying to, oh man. Shoot, we gotta put the charger on the dang iPad. So I need some AC. I need some AC. I need some music, and I need some tea if I'm gonna survive at all tonight. I love how people just pop in and just start talking just all of a sudden. Savage is a compliment monster. Yeah, tell me something new. Tell me something I haven't heard. I'm trying to get us set up, guys. Good to see you all. Just comes in. Cows are yellow. Okay. Bluetooth on, jam double, connect.
Paired.
Okay, we're connected. Let's get some music going real quick. What's up, Santana? What's up, dogs? We want some mushroom jazz. That's what you guys like. A little up tempo. Okay. So got the music set up. We've got a bunch of new fragrances. A lot of people were saying on my last live, not even a lot of people, it was actually just like 2 people. One guy said, "Do you actually own any niche fragrances?" The other guy said, "Do you have any designer fragrances?" So what we did was the first 20 fragrances that you guys see is all designer and niche. Mostly designer. But I thought I'd put no clones in the first 2 rows so people can see, so people can basically swallow their pride a little bit. Doesn't matter. I could care less. If all of these were clones, I wouldn't even give 2 rips. But decided to put all name brands behind me, minus the Kawa over here. But yeah. Anyways, guys, I'm going to get some tea real quick. And what else? I need to get some tea. I need to turn the AC on. So y'all get your questions loaded up. Scent of the day for me is new shipment of, good old EDP, guys. If you know, you know. Just got this in like 2 days ago. So that's what we're sailing with. I was in the office quite a bit. So this is Office Elite. This is Elite Office for me. Nothing's beating it. I don't care what you have in the office. Nothing you wear in the office is going to beat this EDP. I really don't care. I don't care what it is. I don't care what you say. I don't care how you feel. You are not beating me in the office with anything you have on if you don't have on this. I might give you a slight edge if you have the parfum on, but if you have the parfum on, I probably wouldn't even smell you unless I gave you a hug. Anyways, I'm gonna get some tea really quick. You guys load your questions up real quick. What up, Santana? What up, Go Dogs? What up, Kicks? What up, Brent? What up, Yeah? What up, Fanny? Y'all put your questions up. I'm gonna load everything up. We got the music going. I didn't think I was gonna go live today, but my music kind of cut a little bit short tonight. So I was like, you know what? I want to say hi to my fragrance family and talk fragrances. And if you're just tuning in, a lot of people were like, is all you have clones? So we put today's designer day. All designers, some niche in the first 2 rows for all my haters out there. And we're going to keep it moving respectfully. I don't care what the name of the house is. I care if I smell good. But for all of those who get hard over politics, we're going to do a little politicking for y'all in the front row tonight. I will be right back. Okay, guys. All right, I'm back. Ari, take a time out. You need self-control. Okay. All right, almost burnt myself. I got my tea brewing, and I need to put this light on. There we go. Put a little spotlight behind the fragrances. Okay. Back to everybody who was patient. Let's start from the top. Welcome to the Scent Bubble. I am your host for the afternoon. Welcome to some of my fragrance collection. We are here. We're about to get busy. I appreciate y'all for being patient with me. I did think about waiting to go live until I was ready, but you know what? I don't really care. It is what it is. I don't do this for algorithm or views. I do it for fun. So for people that just tap in to get some value and leave, they're already out of here, which was kind of the goal. So if you have any questions about my fragrances that you've been having your eyes on, feel free to pop in and let me know. I'd love to answer anything for you. We're going to go through some quick questions real quick. Versace. It was a Versace day. Shout out to Versace Dylan Blue. Scent of, what is SOTN? Scent of the night. Okay. Scent of the day, Dylan Blue. Scent of the night, Versace Pour Homme. That's unique, Santana. I mean, Versace Pour Homme is weaker and less interesting than Dylan Blue, and they're both fresh fragrances, Dylan Blue being one of the more versatile, slightly signature freshies. So Versace Pour Homme seems out of place, unless you just went home for the night and weren't doing much and you just wanted to smell clean. Versace Pour Homme seems a little out of balance. I might have reversed the order of that, but that's all good. Kicks, I appreciate you for wishing me better. I am feeling better. Probably not looking better, but we'll get there eventually. I will be doing a quick hot takes review of Seraphim Blue and Red. So if you're still here, just sound off in the chat. That way I can let you know what I think of those fragrances. I'm going to do my official videos actually tomorrow. I tried to do them today, but I wasn't up to snuff this morning when I started recording them. So we're going to do those tomorrow. But if you want to know what I think about them, I'd be happy to let you know if you're still here. There's like a new car there, bro. Well, one of the new cars is Tom Ford. So, well, it's not really new car. I mean, literally it is, but I've had Grey Vetiver in my collection for quite some time. I just ran out, and this was the re-up. Is Versace Eros a good cologne for middle school? Absolutely. You'll probably be the best smelling person in town if you're wearing Versace Eros. Get the EDT though. EDP and Parfum are what people say better than the EDT, but they're not right by a long shot. EDT is going to be much cheaper. You can get the large bottle for virtually free, and you're going to smell just as good as the Parfum. Obviously a little less dense, but the EDT is the original. It's the perfect formulation. Everything else is just a slight adjustment, and just go for price. Get the bigger bottle for the best price. You won't lose anything in the EDT that you won't lose any of the effect that the EDP and Parfum have with the EDT. Toyota Supra. Speaking of Toyota Supra, that was my favorite car growing up as a kid. Is Versace Eros a good cologne? Yes. Brent, you got to do better, man. You got to just do better. I know you've got the attention span of a squirrel, but you got to do better. Yeah, I post just get Nautica Voyage for middle school. You know, Nautica Voyage is cool, but you know, you're going to pay 20 bucks for Nautica Voyage. Maybe a little less if you penny pinch, but most people are just going to their local store and picking it up. So for that, I say, you know, if you can't afford the $30 or $40 fragrance, just wait till Christmas or your birthday and have your mom pick up either the 50 ml for like 30-ish bucks or the 100 ml for like 40-ish bucks, and just have Eros. Eros is an insanely better fragrance than Nautica Voyage, and it's more versatile. It's more versatile in that Nautica Voyage is not a great date night fragrance. It's a great formal wear. It's a great casual / upscale casual / classical wear. But I find that the date night is really where it falls short. Whereas if you wear Versace Eros, EDT, EDP, or Parfum, you have insane whip game with the ladies. And you still smell very high class. And you smell like you have niche fragrance on. whether they recognize the fragrance or not. But if you're a kid wearing Eros, everything you wear is niche because no one that you even go to school with has fragrance on. What's going on, Greenlee? I might have to call my group the Bubbleheads when I launch my paid group. Scent of the day, Illusion D'un Soir. I can dig it. I can dig it. You know, it's cloning one of my favorite fragrances. So I dig it. What's a frag that makes you smile? I like that question. A lot of these make me smile, really. I think for me, I don't know if it necessarily makes me smile. It definitely made me smile the first couple of times I wore it. Over time, when I wear this fragrance, it just makes me feel good. I feel classy. I feel like a grown man, but I don't feel like an old man. I just feel like a grown modern man. When I think of grown modern man in 2025, he's wearing Ferragamo Bright Leather. Ignore the name Bright Leather because, like most leather fragrances, this doesn't follow in its footsteps. You don't smell it and go, leather. If I gave you this bottle and sprayed a test strip for you, you wouldn't say to yourself, oh, that has leather in it. You'd smell the sophistication in the background, you'd smell the texture, but you wouldn't smell leather. And the reason why is because it's blonde leather. And another reason why is because there's only about 20% of leather in this fragrance. A lot of leather-based fragrances have about 60 to 80% leather forwardness with just a touch of citruses or fruits or florals in the background, kind of dressing it up. Even most fragrances, if they're not that loud with leather, at least do 50% leather. Ferragamo's Bright Leather really only comes in at about 20% blonde leather in the back. About 80% of the fragrance is just this beautiful, bright, just happy, uplifting, invigorating citrus. When you put that citrus melody up top, and then you just kind of comfort in the back with woods and leather, you just get a classy citrus fragrance, which is hard to come by because a lot of citrus-based fragrances that have the type of citrus character that this has normally go in the route of freshy. They put water behind it, you know, kind of an aquatic feel behind citrus, citrus on woods, citrus on vetiver, citrus with some florals. But this doesn't follow in that direction. Using that leather base, it kind of classies up the citrus, which is not, we're not used to smelling citrus very classy. That's why I love a fragrance like Mancera's Vetiver Sensual, because that vetiver is so strong as a base that it classies and sophisticates the citrus, which is not what we're used to getting. When we usually get citruses, we're used to getting freshy with charm, citrus fruit basket, you know, very casual, slightly upscale casual wear. This still feels grown, but it's very lively and active. This is a fragrance that when you put it on, you feel alive. It's not even just a freshie with charm because it has that class. So you could dress this from casual to where I think the perfect guideline for this is it can go casual, but probably shouldn't. It perfectly sits in upscale casual, and it can go up to semi-formal. I think it could even be made a case for going to formal, but it's such a happy fragrance that it would really have to fit the formal mood. Like maybe a celebratory wedding, this would be a very safe, slightly signature classical wear that still feels very modern. One of the most unique leathers, if I was trying to get anyone into leather, I would have them start at Ferragamo Bright Leather. I tell this story all the time. I have a friend who only buys niche. I don't remember the last time he paid less than $500 for a fragrance. He typically spends between $500 to $1,500 per fragrance. I remember the first time he came to me and asked me, what he should get next. And I pointed him to Ganymede, the Extrait. And I thought he was just going to get a sample of it first, and he just bought it outright. But he bought the extra large with the Extrait as a gift set or whatever. And I was just blown away by how much niche this guy would buy on a weekly basis. But so what I did is I don't carry an insane amount of niche, but I do have a lot of niche, especially in samples. And so I would always bring him decants to my church, and they would be blind. So I wouldn't tell him what the fragrance was. I would just spray it on his wrist, and I would say, hey, bro, try this, try this fragrance. And I would decant it in a blank bottle. And when I put this in a decant, he came up to me immediately and said, I don't know what it is about this fragrance, but it just makes me happy. What is it? And when I showed him this bottle, he immediately bought the large, and he said, man, for a designer fragrance, I can't believe how sophisticated this bottle is, how classy it looks, how affordable it is, for how great it smells. So if you're ever shy about leather, Ferragamo Bright Leather is an amazing introduction. Similarly to vetiver, if you don't love vetiver, Tom Ford's Gray Vetiver and Vetiver Sensual is a great starting point for leather. If you're not an older male, I would swap out Vetiver Sensual for Terre de Hermes and Gray Vetiver. But nonetheless, those are great starting points if you're getting into vetiver. If you're getting into leather, this is a great starting point. I know that was long-winded, but you're with the scent bubble. Thank you for your question, Faison. Jean-Paul Gaultier Le Male Parfum is good, but it has bad performance. Well, that's always the case with most JPG fragrances. Great performance, okay scent DNA, or amazing DNA with okay performance. Are you going to be getting Hawas Elixir? I might, but with any Hawas fragrance or Club de Nuit fragrance or anything in that wheelhouse, I always let the fans tell me how it is before I get it, because I don't blind buy anything. Respect your elders, Morbell. Try the Grand Soir Clone Ombre Eve from Fragrance World. It's $20. I have a good Grand Soir clone. I'm very good on Grand Soir clones. Also, did receive Vibrant Vetiver Delight and wore it for 2 days. It's fantastic. Great recommendation. Thank you. Hey, Greenlee, I'm very happy that you like, do I even have it up here? I'm very happy that you enjoyed this fragrance. I feel like it's one of those fragrances where fragrance snobs would might say that this doesn't smell niche or something like that. But to be quite honest, if you've ever had Byredo's Bal de Freak, which is what this is cloning, they smell almost 100% one-to-one, except the Byredo fragrance is a little more earthy. This is more fun. It's a fragrance where, first off, when you get the fragrance, you love the bottle, right? You don't have many fragrances that are a solid, nice pastel color like this. They really sold this fragrance amazingly, because you get this package, right? And you're like, oh, okay, this is just a different bottle than what I'm used to. And then when you take the cap off, I really wish they would have made the cap like black, but that's okay. When you take the cap off and you spray that atomizer and you get that low pressure mist, long spray, low pressure, and then it just fills the air. You're like, you get hit with two things. Wow, this atomizer is incredible. And oh my gosh, what a beautiful smell of like this playful Sprite. And then you just really enjoy this fragrance because it just provides you with something that you don't get with the other fragrances. Surprisingly, when you put this on, like 4 sprays, after about the first 30 minutes, you might tend to think that the sillage might not be there and the projection might not be there, but you will be amazed how many people will smell you at about 6 feet of distance. This actually has scary good performance. I would say 8 hours plus. If you spray this 5 times or more, you will have 8 hours plus of performance, and whether you're on clothes or skin. But this is just a very playful, fun experience. It's just really nice. I'm actually working with a cool combo right now, trying to get this more closer to the Byredo Ball de Freak, which is what this is cloning. The only difference between the two is this is a little less earthy, a little more playful. Um, so what I've done is I've started putting some Ganymede under this to give it kind of some earthiness, and it's a spot-on clone of Ball de Freak. But even on its own, it's absolutely incredible. Great bang for your buck. Incredible bottle presentation. Great price, 100 ml. I'm so glad you're enjoying it. It's actually been a real treat to see how many of you guys have bought fragrances that I've recommended. I would say in the last week, I've probably had about 20 people purchase fragrance from my recommendations alone. And I've gotten feedback from like almost all 20 of you guys. And I haven't had one person say that they got a bad recommendation. Every email or chat that people have reached out to me with has been, yo, I just got my bottle in that you recommended. I'm so thrilled with it. It's amazing. Thank you so much. So, you know, I never like to toot my own horn, but sometimes when you're reviewing things as a fragrance person, I tell you guys, this is my journey and it's my perspective. So I never assume that you guys have my nose. That's why I talk so much, because I try to give you so much information that you can put it into context with your own thinking. And if you don't agree with my nose, you have enough information about my perspective to synthesize that into something that you really understand to ultimately help you guys purchase your fragrances. So to see that translate in people to buy fragrances and agree, like, man, it's exactly how you said it would be, that's just priceless. So, it's incredible to see how many people have purchased. I mean, some of the fragrances people have purchased this week, the Bentley, the Eros, the YSL L'Homme, the Lalique Pour Homme, the Ecus, the Bright Leather, the Vetiver Sensual, the Amir Celestial. What else? I know there's a couple of other ones. The Socrate, the Liam Gray. I mean, there's just been an insane amount of fragrances people have been buying. It's just nuts. Let's see. So yeah, thank you so much, Greenlee. Scent of the day, Boy 1920. Beautiful, Joel. Beautiful. Do you have a script when you make your videos, outline of points that you want to make, or do you just go off the cuff to the video later? That's a good question. Because for those of you who don't know, I don't follow a script in any of my videos. In fact, my videos are actually live streamed locally. So what that means is you can't tune into it, but I am live. So there's no editing. When you guys see my intro transitions and my icons pop up in the end screen and everything, those aren't edited into the video. Those are transitioned with a keyboard live while I'm filming. I don't script at all. And a lot of that's because I want you guys to get a true initial impression, see how my brain's thinking through things. I don't want to pre-program myself as to what I'm going to say. I want you guys to see with my facial expressions and what I say, how I feel about a fragrance in real time. But the way that I do that in a way that feels scripted is when I first started doing my episodes, I did write out on a notepad on a separate screen. I wrote like a single word to kind of guide my thing. So I would put intro, initial thoughts, Fragrantica breakdown, and then I would do top facts, which would be typically like performance, season, gender, occasion. And then lastly, closing thoughts would be, are there any alternatives to the fragrance? And final thoughts on the fragrance, whether you should buy it or not, and what I would rate the fragrance overall. So that was a formula that I had on a screen next to me, so that no matter what, I have a 3-screen setup when I do my recordings, and I would have that script on the right-hand side for my first 3 videos I ever did. And so anytime I was talking through a certain talking point, I would look over, I would see where my time was at for how long the video's been running, because every time I run a video, it has like a countdown. It tells me how long the video's been going for. So I could always see how long the video was going, and if I was talking too much that I forgot where I was going next, I would look over and say, oh, I just finished the intro. That was kind of long-winded. What's next? Oh, initial thoughts. And then I would just pivot back to freestyling off of initial thoughts. It only took 3 episodes. I actually thought I would have to use that script for much longer. But after about 3 videos, it's just ingrained in my mind. I know, like, oh, if I'm at initial thoughts, my next topic is Fragrantica, doing the breakdown. If I'm done with my breakdown, I know the next thing I'm going to do is general facts, you know, price, performance, gender, occasion, you know. And so I'm kind of like a walking script, if that makes sense. But I always tell myself that no matter what segment I'm on, which I have some new stuff I'm actually going to bust out for the Scent Bubble. I have a new Scent Bubble theme song that I created myself. I have a brand new intro, and I actually have sound effects coming where when I give something a certain rating, it comes with a sound effect. I just haven't had the time to integrate it into the stream yet, but it's coming really soon. But yeah, it's just, I always have a rule that no matter what topic I'm on with the fragrance, I will talk as long as I need to talk, as long as the information I'm giving helps the person determine whether or not they should buy the fragrance or not. So when you guys see me go on a long-winded rant like this one, it's because in that part of the segment, I think there's a lot of value to be said that can help you make a great decision. People who just like having people tell them yes or no on a fragrance, my channel's not for you. But if you're sitting there penny pinching and you want to really know what's a fragrance you should have on your radar, or if you have a fragrance you're already looking at and you see that I've reviewed it, you know when you come to my channel that you're getting the brass tacks on that fragrance, and you won't need to watch 10 reviews on that fragrance. You go to me, you're gonna be covered. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Versace Pour Homme after taking a shower, nice, clean, and fresh. Yeah, I could see that, absolutely. You know, to me personally, none of these fragrances are different from one another to me. Even though DNA-wise they shift a little bit, the vibe they give me is all the same. CK1. CK Everyone. '90 Pure White from Banana Republic. CK Defy. Hawass. Nautica Voyage. Arctic Slate from Banana Republic. Mont Blanc Starwalker. There's one more that I'm missing. Banana Republic Modern Man. Cypress Cedar. Metal Rain. All those fragrances, whether they lean in the direction of linen, citrus, clean, aquatic, they're all the same type of mood. Fresh out of the shower, blind grab, clean, bright, airy, light, versatile. To me, those are all the same fragrance. They all have the same level of casual, out of the shower utility. So it's just a matter of which you prefer. Do you like to go more linen? Do you like to go more citrus? Do you like to go more aquatic? but they all do the same thing. So for me, none of those, even though I could talk about the nuances of each one, they're not really nuanced in my mind for the utility of how they would be used. I'm curious about the Narciso Rodriguez. Any suggestion for men? Well, Devin, the thing about Narciso Rodriguez is he has several versions of his fragrances. The only one that I'm familiar with is the most popular, which is Blue Noir. And I can tell you that it is a phenomenal fragrance. It kind of likens it, I kind of liken it to like a cross between, I don't know, it has a feeling of Dior Homme Intense as an underbelly, kind of this powdery irisness, but it's just soaked in kind of this blue shower jelliness, but it's not, it doesn't feel like shower gel. It's so much fresher and organic than that. Like when people say shower jelly, they're kind of talking about like a synthetic blue, like literally when you squeeze blue shower gel into your hand, it smells kind of synthetic, but it smells good, but it just kind of has that like soapy blue aquatic synthetic to it. Blue Noir is not that at all. It smells blue, but like a rich, classy, sophisticated blue, almost similar to like, I don't want to necessarily say Bleu de Chanel Parfum, maybe like, okay, it smells like a slightly lighter, fresher version of Dior Homme Intense, maybe 2020, but wrapped in a blanket of Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum. It's dense, but still very fresh. So it has this classiness to it. It has this earthy fresh to it, but the DNA itself, the nuts of the fragrance, is still seductive iris. And so for that, I can tell you among men, Blue Noir Parfum from Narciso Rodriguez is creme de la creme. And for $40 to $50, absolute steal of a fragrance. I give it a 10 out of 10. That DNA mixture of kind of this Bleu de Chanel, Dior Homme Intense take is something I think we absolutely needed. And another fragrance, hold on, let me pour this tea. Another fragrance that kind of does this so well, look at this, loose leaf tea. We're filtering it out right now live since you guys hate when I take breaks. You guys can barely hold your bladders, let alone your attention span. Hold on. Another fragrance that does that so well, that I was really impressed with, it's a niche house, is Eight and Bob. I felt like the Eight and Bob Egypt fragrance took a Hassavat approach to Dior Homme Intense. They kind of took something right in the middle of Dior Homme Intense and Dior Homme Parfum. It's smooth, but not necessarily creamy iris, but it's not harsh either. It's not dusty either. It's kind of this middle of the road smooth iris with an underbelly of oak mossy Hassavat vibes. And so it's just kind of like this more manly than seductive, but has a backbone seduction to it. It's kind of like two different psychologies. Like one psychology of romantic man is to be sweet seductive, right? Then there's actually three psychologies to kind of romance, in my opinion, when it comes to fragrance. There's more, but these are kind of like the three that run the show. For men, not boys. Kind of sweet seductive, right? Where you lead with sweet with a backbone of seduction. The second one is where you lead with sweet with a backbone of mysterious. It's dark, it's rich, might be an earthy note, might be some oud, just something unfamiliar that disrupts the sweet and takes your mind into curiosity. And then the other one is kind of the macho man approach, which is that I'm the man your dad should have been. You know what I'm saying? Like, or if the girl had a dad that he was the dad's dad, the macho dad. When she thought of her dad, she thought protection, power, the safety, the security. And you're just that type of man where when you walk in the room, she just feels secure. Nothing could possibly happen to her. And he's edgy. This isn't the man who's trying to be seductive. His presence and his power and his confidence and his manly edginess, his unpredictability, this would be kind of the bad boy approach without all the sweet. I don't really think you can be bad boy and sweet. Those are contradictory terms. If you're sweet, you're a good guy. If you're spicy, if you're edgy, you're a bad guy. Which is why I feel like something like a Sauvage Elixir is almost kind of contradictory marketing, because it has edgy manliness, but it's mostly in the vein of a boy toy-esque vibe. But because it's far less boy toy than like Jean-Paul Gaultier, they give it the edgy vibe. And because they throw the guy from Pirates of the Caribbean, now it's edgy. It's like, well, no, it's still kind of, vanilla. But that third psychology is almost no sweetness to even speak of, just manliness. But you give the kind of undertone of a little bit of sweetness just to remind them of that seductiveness. And that's what I think Egypt and Bob did. They took a fragrance that is known for being sweet, sophisticated, luxurious, seductive, which is Dior Homme Intense. They put that on the back burner of the fragrance and kind of led forward with this oak, mossy, classic, powerful, older manness to it, kind of like how Hassavat kind of sons Aventus. And then they backboned it with the Dior Homme Intense, so the supporting role is seductive, but the lead role is this prominent, sophisticated, multifaceted man's man. So I feel like the Narciso Rodriguez kind of nailed that perfectly, and Egypt's 8 and Bob nailed it perfectly as well, just in two different ways. Oh, what up, novice? I'm literally wearing Seraphim blue on one arm and red on the other. Had to let the wife decide on her favorite earlier. I'm actually interested, Gator, what she said, because I have some test strips that have been sitting from earlier, and they're still fresh because I hit them heavy. Seraphim red, Seraphim blue. And it feels like, I don't know if the woman would be, it's different on what the woman would prefer on her man versus what she likes herself in the air. But I feel like red leans feminine, like leans feminine attractive. Blue leans more masculine. But there's something interesting to red. Like, I wrestle in my mind because I feel like Seraphim red, if I just smelled this walking by somebody, I would feel like it smells like a hip 40-year-old lady. That's just about her business, working class woman, might have an office job, something like that, right? Smells good. I don't really feel like masculine vibes if I was just, boom, I brushed through this fragrance. So then I automatically feel like Seraphim red has to be a unisex fragrance. It's reminiscent of some stuff my mom used to wear. But it's hard to block that out for like how I feel like it would be on me. But it has a type of sauce to it that I'd almost need to wear it on my skin to see if how I think about it translates to how I feel about wearing it and what it does on skin. Blue feels more like notorious, like, yeah, a man could wear this. This is an easy wear for a man. But there's such a backbone to both of these fragrances. I truly need to put them on skin to walk around and see what they do in the air. I think these are going to be very circumstantial, though. Like where you wear them is going to paint the picture of the fragrance. Like I would like to wear these in a few different environments. Like I'd like to wear it going out to a mall and just walking around people. I'd like to wear it maybe somewhere like a library, you know, like a Barnes and Noble, a coffee shop, a lounge. I'd like to see the difference between how it aerates outside versus indoors, intimate setting versus super high volume public setting, because these seem to push and project evenly very well. So interested to know what wifey thinks about them. All right. That's okay, Joel. Hey, listen, man, you're already an incredible human being. You know, you can take a shift off anytime you need, brother. We'll hold it down. Wait to afford Versace Eros instead of instantly getting Nautica Voyage. Absolutely. I mean, do you guys agree with me, man? Like, Nautica Voyage, it's only a great fragrance because people keep running around saying it's a great fragrance. I mean, heck, I'll tell you, it's a good fragrance. I'm not going to say it's great because the fact of the matter is, yeah, if all you had was this, it'll get a lot done for you. You're not going to smell bad. It'll have some versatility. But in today's marketplace, what $20 or $30 can get you in fragrance, there's so many more options. If the clone market didn't exist, we would still be talking about this with high relevance from people who are still wearing this. But it just amazes me how many people say that Nautica Voyage is a great fragrance that don't wear it anymore, guys. Guys, can we pause this? Guys, let's be real here. Seriously. Seriously. Can we be real here? Can I have a heart to heart with you guys? For all my people who have more than 10 fragrances, you know, you're a collector. How many of you guys are still wearing this? I don't care if you busted it out once in a while because you wanted to get some nostalgia and you didn't want to think for the day. How many of you guys are wearing this? Like, guys, I'm sorry to tell you, but unless you have financial issues and you're just starting on your fragrance collection, you don't have that many options, you need an introductory fragrance, nobody's wearing Nautica Voyage in 2025 that has more than a few bottles of fragrance. This is a starter kit fragrance. Is it good? Absolutely. Is it versatile? Absolutely. Is it great? No. In 2025, guys, and you need to understand the context of a comment like this. Arctic Slate, good fragrance. Nautica Voyage, good fragrance. Rasasi Hawass, good fragrance. CK1, good fragrance. CK All, great fragrance. CK Everyone, great fragrance. CK Defy, great fragrance. Guys, or good fragrance, good for all those. Guys, they're good staple fragrances for introductory fragrance sets. But if you own more than like 10 bottles of fragrance, we have to stop going around telling people to get these fragrances. It is very circumstantial introductory fragrance for people who are step one in their journey. We can't stop waving the flag that these are great fragrances because you're robbing people. You're putting people in a position where they're going to wear the fragrance, run it up the wall for a month, and then be so bored they're going to want something new. It always happens time again. For $20, $30, they can get more than half the fragrances sitting up here, guys, that are way better than Nautica Voyage. Anything from the Bentley line is better than Nautica Voyage, minus freaking Silver Lake. And these are all under $30. Any of the clones are under $30 and beat Nautica Voyage. Like, guys, Any of the Mont Blancs are under $30 and they beat Nautica Voyage. What are we talking about? We got to stop capping in our rap. Yes, I own Nautica Voyage. This is my second bottle. I ran through a bottle and a half of this 20 years ago. It's done me a lot of good. I respect this fragrance. This is essentially Versace Eros before Eros existed. More classical, not the same DNA, but the all-around fragrance you could just wear in any season, any reason, and you'd get some compliments. People would think you smell good. You could go classy. You could go casual. Everybody agreed they liked it. Women love the smell of it on a man. It puts some hair on your chest. Okay, I get it. But in 2025, we got to stop hyping these. We got to tell people, you know what? In 2025, we're wearing Bentley. We're wearing some Mont Blanc. We're wearing some clones that get us in the niche and designer world. We're not still wearing Nautica Voyage unless we want to scratch some old man syndrome itch in our minds. We got to just cut that out. You'll never see me recommend anything of that caliber to my viewers unless they're just starting out. And even then, you'll notice for the high schoolers in my chat, I still don't recommend Nautica Voyage or Hawass or any of these. I'll always give you a better alternative because in 2025, we just need to do better. We need to grow up, guys. I don't care what age you are. And you could tell them I said it, man. What's up, Exile? Good to see you, brother. Haven't forgot that super chat. Thank you so much, man. I'm thinking of getting a couple of Creed fragrances. Think that they are still worth getting. Some say they get no projection and longevity. Others say they get a lot. Don't buy a fragrance for longevity. Somebody just asked me today about projection and longevity, and I said, hey, listen, man, almost 100% of the people who ask me about projection and sillage and longevity spray in their highest capacity have only sprayed up to 5 times with a fragrance. If you haven't sprayed a fragrance on for more than 5 sprays in a wearing, you are a sissy sprayer. There is no universal amount of sprays that you need for a fragrance, but if you don't understand the basic fact that some fragrances are nuclear and only require a spray or 2, and many, many more other fragrances require 4 to 6, 6 to 8, or even 8 to 10 sprays based off of their potency and what ingredients are in them, then you are a sissy sprayer, and that's okay. See, here's the problem with a lot of people. You guys judge the projection and performance of a fragrance based off of what you smell when you start spraying your fragrance. You go 1, 2, oh, it's in the air, I smell it. Wow, what about, that's crazy projection. And then you just stop. You judge the entire performance of the fragrance off of what you get in the opening blast. And that's never indicative of a fragrance's performance, ever. You want to know a good test? Spray yourself, go outside for a minute, and come back in and see how you feel about your fragrance. It's not going to tell you much about the longevity, but you'll see very quickly how much a fragrance dissipates after you change out of the environment where it's no longer in the air and come back into it. And you'll get a better sense of why. Some people say to me, oh my gosh, you spray a fragrance like Amir Sadrat Essence, you can't go under 6 sprays. Some people say, you put 6 sprays of Sadrat Essence? And I say, no, I put 10. But I guarantee you, if I sprayed myself 10 times right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Of course, right now, I would almost pass out from how much projection would be in the air, right? But If I sprayed myself 10 times, immediately go outside and stand outside for 1 minute and then come back in, it'll feel like I only sprayed myself 3 times. Judge the fragrance by what you're getting after the first couple minutes where it's actually settled into the clothes or settled on skin, and get a true sense of the fragrance. If I'm telling you put 10 sprays on, don't go sit in your bathroom and hit 10 sprays and then just stand there and waft in that projection. Walk around. Give the fragrance a chance to settle, and then you'll know what I'm talking about. So with Creed fragrances, oftentimes you might have to ramp up the sprays, and that's okay. If you like the DNA, for most Creed fragrances, they're gonna have decent performance. Now, in my opinion, age matters with Creed fragrances, because for me, the age category for certain Creed fragrances is pretty drastic. There's only a very few fragrances from Creed that can go 25 and down. There's a lot of fragrances that can go from about 25 to 40, and there's only a few fragrances that can go from 40 and up. So let me know what your age is, Vic, and I'll be happy to recommend the top of the line Creed fragrances I would recommend. And because I just went to the actual Creed designer last week, so I can give you firsthand experience on a ranking system of best fragrances, but I'm not going to rank them unless I know your age, because I have a different ranking based off what the age is. There's not a universal ranking for Creed fragrances. It's all subjective to age. And I hope that was helpful. And thank you so much. You know, we have 20 people in here, going up to 50 sometimes. If you have the chance, please hit the like button. It'll throw more people in the chat. The algorithm will reward you guys by putting more people in the chat that can interact with you and answer questions while I'm being long-winded and answering each of your guys' questions thoroughly and thoughtfully. I don't have a favorite Issey Miyake. I've only smelled those fragrances a couple of times, maybe like 2 of them. I saw them in Neiman's last week, and I was just too distracted by all the other niche houses. Any cheap ones you recommend? A ton. What are you looking for in particular, James? Scent of the day, Lalique Ecus. Hey, SoCal picked up that Ecus, guys. He loves it. You got to ramp up the sprays on it, man. I think 6 to 10 sprays of Ecus is essential. And Ecus is also an amber-based vetiver fragrance, so you really benefit from putting it on skin, around the neck, the pulse points, and then that amber and vetiver really ramp up and radiate. If you put Ecus on clothes, it does kind of dry down light. So if you really want it to pop on skin, you really got to put it on skin to really let it radiate. But even so, I think 6 to 10 sprays wherever you're most comfortable is going to be a beautiful experience. What's great about Ecus is it doesn't matter how much you overspray it, it still settles the same in the end. Goat, okay, so obviously I know what you mean by affordable fragrances, but let me know what are you trying to use a fragrance for? Okay, we're working our way down the list, guys. What do you think if the... Oh, dude, Omar. So this is crazy, man. When I was in Neiman's, bro, I smelled the whole Bulgari line. They had like 8 fragrances out, like in a triangle. And in the front of it, they had Men in Black Bulgari, because that bottle is different than all the other bottles. All the other bottles are that black and gold. They look like the Tigar bottle, right? But the Men in Black bottle is just like a sleek black bottle with kind of like a Times New Roman print on it. I think that Men in Black, Bulgari's Man in Black or whatever, is better than all of the other Bulgari fragrances. That was the only fragrance I wanted to buy when I left the Bulgari designer table. So if that tells you anything, buddy, I think that fragrance is worth every penny. However, I would go on fragrancebuy.ca to buy it, because I think you'll get it the cheapest there. I think you can get it for like 40, 50 bucks for 100 ml. That fragrance was incredible. Classy, manly, slightly unique with signature. It'll give you something in your collection that you won't quite have in terms of that rich man stepping out of the Bentley feel. Highly recommend Bulgari Man in Black. That's a 10 out of 10 fragrance for me. Oh, that's excellent. You get your bright leather on Friday. Yeah. Hey, listen, you're going to love it, SoCal. You're going to love it, buddy. Best Tygar clone. I mean, here's the thing, buddy. Tygar clones are like imagination clones. They're all pretty much the same quality. The slight nuance in better or worseness doesn't change what it gives you. They all give you the DNA. Whether one is more synthetic or one is more fresh doesn't really matter. Like, I'll give you an example. I recommend Sahib Intense as an imagination clone over Intimation. But the reality is, even if you had Intimation, you'd still be a very happy camper. Maybe even for the fact that you get, 50 ml of more juice because it's 120 ml, whereas Sahib Intense is like a 75 ml or a 70 ml. So even though Sahib Intense is slightly better, it's like, well, who the heck cares? So I say that to say, like, with Bulgari Tygar clones, they're all so close. It doesn't really matter what you get. It's just whatever you have access to, make sure the ratings are high and just get it because they all they all smell the same. Tons of citruses on aquatics with a slight bit of amber that acts like vetiver. I truly don't think anybody needs the imagination DNA or the Tygar DNA. Citruses and aquatics on amber. I just think that like one fragrance encapsulates all of those LV fragrances and all of the clones. And I'm trying to see which one it is. I'm trying to remember which fragrance it is to me. I don't know, man. Ecus to me easily beats out any Tygar clone and any imagination clone. And the reason why is because they put way more vetiver under it, so it feels more manly. The problem with Tygar and imagination is they're so playful that even though the actual fragrances smell rich, most people aren't going to get the rich fragrance or get the actual name brand. They're going to go with the clones. And the clones don't smell rich. So that playful citrus aquatic on woods or on amber smells young. And Ecus, for only $30 or less, still preserves the manhood. It's citruses on amber and vetiver, but it still has nuts to the fragrance. You don't lose your manhood. It's still a manly citrus fragrance due to the higher concentration of vetiver. And that's where they failed. So if we're going affordable, I think Lalique Ecus beats every single clone of Tygar and Imagination. But if we're talking niche or designer that beats all of them, it's Roja Parfums Elysium. Point blank period. Lalique is a close second to Elysium. The only reason Elysium beats this, number one, because it's Elysium. The fragrance is $280 more than this fragrance. But also because where this kind of stops on slightly citrus, ramped up amber, touch of sophisticated vetiver just tinging that amber, Elysium gives you that, but gives you that breath of aquatic through it and a few more citruses that add a little more dimension than this. This is a little bit more straightforward, but this is an incredible, high-class, manly, sophisticated fragrance that'll put a smile on your face. You could dress it up, you could dress it down. It radiates on skin. But the highest representation of that is Elysium. Elysium eats imagination and Tygar for breakfast, and this eats all of their clones for lunch. I hope you guys were listening, man. That was some of the best advice I've given in a long time. I actually wish that somebody clipped me there. The best Tygar clone for me is Afnan Tarathi Blue. And if you go on TikTok shop, you can get it for like anywhere between $11 to $20. But quite frankly, after hearing my speech, you shouldn't even be looking for a Tygar clone. You should be grabbing Lalique Icus for $20 to $25 and calling it a freaking day. There are at least 2 people in the chat that have this fragrance that just got it within this week who can testify that there's no cap in my rap and that I'm speaking facts to you guys. I wouldn't waste your time, which is why I wouldn't waste your time answering your questions for you with an alternative if I didn't think the alternative was better. Guys, this is the scent bubble, guys. I speak truth. If you ask me a question that I think I have a better answer for, I'm going to answer it, even if I don't give you a direct answer. But I speak from a real freaking place. You guys think I just have this as a display? I wear all these fragrances every single freaking week. There's sometimes I wear 2-3 fragrances a day to get quality wearing. I have personal experience with every fragrance up here, guys. I'm not just talking about fragrances. I don't just buy I don't blind buy anything. And for all you guys who are sitting out there and you guys are like, yo, you don't have any niche or whatever. Guys, anything you have questions about. Oh, how close is this to imagination? How close is this to Tygar? I mean, guys, we can do this forever. I test stuff, guys. Ganymede, okay? Memo Paris, African Leather, Grand Soir, Montclair, La Corday, Mancera Vetiver Sensual before I even bought it, Escondido, Escandalo from day 3. Like, guys, I'm not, like, I don't know what you want from me, guys. We're not just sampling clones around here, guys. Spice Bomb Infrared, everything from Dolce & Gabbana, everything from Mont Blanc, everything from Paco Rabanne, everything from 1 Million, everything from Tom Ford, Instant Crush. Guys, everything from Acqua di Gio. I'm not lying to you guys. Elysium, Oud Satin Mood, Ombre Leather, the whole Bentley line, Noir Extreme, Noir, Elysium. Like, guys, what do you want me to do here? And we can do this for freaking days. Low Medial Extreme, Uomo Signature. Like, guys, Black Orchid, guys, I wear stuff. I'm not just talking out of my butt. I have the original to every single clone. I'm not even, when I sit here and say all these are better than imagination, or this beats imagination, or this beats, like, it's because I have them right here. I'm not lying to you. That's why I don't have them on my shelf. Like, to me, I'm not buying niche and I'm not buying designer if it doesn't blow me away. Vetiver Sensual blows me away. Grey Vetiver Eau de Parfum. I'm in an office. I'm in a suit. I'm collared up every day. This blows me away in the office. I blow people away in the office with this. Pause. Like, so I pick it up. Like, guys, it's not that crazy. It's not even about my collection. My collection makes me happy. I don't have very many misses up here, guys. I don't even put fragrances up here that are misses. You could literally just screenshot my entire collection and you won't be sad with one of these fragrances. I don't even put stuff on display that I don't wear, minus a couple of these, like maybe some off and on 9 p.m. or something, but I have kids that watch this stream. So I have to be able to talk about 9 p.m. and show 9 p.m. Otherwise, they don't think I can relate to kids in high school and know their experiences for what they might enjoy. Yeah, Devin, Narciso Rodriguez Blue Noir Parfum. That's all you need from the Narciso line. Trust me. One of the Lalique fragrances has a dragon head, one has a horse head. Well, one's a lion head and one's a horse head. And the difference between them is sometimes the lion one, the Pour Homme, they'll actually put in parentheses lion, which I'm learning this. But like, for instance, with Icus, it's a horse head. With Pour Homme, it's a lion's head. But they also have another Pour Homme that doesn't have the lion's head. So you got to be careful. But I know exactly what you're trying to say. And yes, you should pay attention. But both of these fragrances are two completely different identities. Dior Sauvage Parfum thoughts. You know, Fendi, I don't like it. I don't like it. I think if you go with Dior Sauvage, you got to go EDT or EDP because those are the original formulations and they have the most success. Only fragrance snobs typically tend to lean on parfums, you know, like for instance with Bleu de Chanel, fragrance snobs always lean on the parfum. Oh, it's more dimension. Grey Vetiver, they'll tell you get the parfum, there's more dimension. It's like, shut your freaking mouth. The EDTs are the most sold versions of them because they're the first version that came out. They're the most affordable and they got the most compliments and they kickstarted the whole campaign financially for the company to be able to even care about an EDP or a parfum. And oftentimes EDPs and parfums are just tweaking the mistakes of the EDT, if it even had any, which it could be argued that there were no mistakes with the EDT. They just made so much money, they wanted to cash grab for a little bit longer and buy time until they could move on to another original formulation. And so that by working less, they just duplicate a fragrance and throw in one extra accord to call it a EDP or a parfum. And they're just robbing your money a second time and confusing the general public who has none of them. So for me, I still think EDT, EDP is a way to go for Sauvage. I have brought, actually, what did Rodriguez say? Raj Best Tigar clone for the money is Tarathi Blue. Great scent, performance, longevity. Absolutely. I have Vibrato and Basso wearing Vibrant Vetiver. Invoked feelings of both of those. I remember you saying that, Greenlee. That's beautiful. Original Kamra or Kawa? Kawa all day. Everybody knows this. I want to start my fragrance journey. Can you suggest any perfume for office for all seasons? Okay, I'm going to give you 3 price points, okay? 3 price points for the office. Any of you guys, Greenlee, if you're still around, transcribe this for this young man. Okay. I actually am going to go back to Lalique Icus because I actually think you can't miss. Okay, we're going to pair this. If you prefer to smell like fresh laundry with a little bit more professionalism, you're going to go with Mont Blanc Starwalker. It's very clean, very fresh, but also very, not formal as much as professional. This is a professional, clean linen-based fragrance. It has a little bit of citrus in it and bamboo, which really gives it a slight bit of uniqueness for a clean office fragrance. This is if you don't want to offend anybody. You almost don't even want people to know you have fragrance, but when they do walk by you, they will think you are one of the cleanest smelling individuals on planet Earth. If you want to radiate just a little bit more with a little bit more personality, but you still want to be conservative clean, I would go with Lalique Ecousse. This is going to be your personality fragrance. This is still dialed back just like this, but this has a lot more personality. It has amber, it has vetiver, it has citrus. This is more citrus and linen and clean, but this is more of a character piece. It just depends on your work environment. Do you want to have a little more personality, or do you want to blend in a little bit more with the crowd? Clean, character. That's the choice and the distinction. You can get Ecousse for as low as $20 at max $30. You can get Mont Blanc here for less than $25. That's going to be your entry point to start your collection. The difference is really going to be up to you. Next, we're going to move up to mid-tier pricing. This is about the $30 to $40 price range. I'm going to give you a conservative, which is going to be bright leather, Ferragamo. You can get this for about $25 to $30. You're going to smell very professional. This is blonde, soft leather, about 20% with an 80% of a warm but slightly conservative citrus. Very classical man, but modern classic man. Very nice. You could go suit and tie with this, or you could go collared shirt with some tailored jeans, and you are going to smell rich and luxurious, but conservatively, you're not going to be overly loud. Women will love to walk by you. Men will love to shake your hand. If you want a little bit more, not necessarily seduction, but a little more sweetness to your walk around work, you want to kind of turn some heads, but still smell fresh, you're going to go with Versace Eros, which you can get in a 50 ml for around the $30 to $40 price point. And for the 50-ish price point, for the $50 to $60 price point, you can get both of these in 100 ml. But if you just want to start with a 50 ml because you're starting your collection and you want to be able to afford more fragrances, these are both 50 ml fragrances that you can get for around the $35 price point, maybe 40 at the absolute most, but it's always money well spent. A little more head turner ability. You can dress it up. You can use it on date night and all that, as well as the office. This is almost strictly office / upscale casual errand running. You're going to smell luxurious like a real man. You just might not be able to translate this into date night, which is totally fine because you're asking for an office fragrance. And then to me personally, if you want to go upscale office and you want to be the office guy that nobody in their wildest dreams is going to smell like, many rich men in the workplace know about this fragrance, but even as much as they know, I still, in my many years of wearing a suit, seeing clients of all ages, ranging from 30 to 80 years old, I've still yet to run into one business executive that's wearing this fragrance. And this is Tom Ford's Grey Vetiver Eau de Parfum. If you look on Amazon right now, they've actually got the 100 ml for a steal right now. You can actually snag this up for about $100 or $110, which is easily going to be the cheapest you're going to find this. Normally runs somewhere between $120 to $180 for this anywhere else. This is the best office fragrance I have ever put my nose to. It's one of my favorite fragrances of all time. If you want to smell like the freshest, cleanest, most professional, highest money earning individual in any upscale, semi-formal to formal setting, business-wise, this is the fragrance that will close any deal. This is the fragrance that any secretary would walk by and want to get your number immediately from before you even spoke. So I gave you something in the 20 to 30 range, something in the 30 to 50 range, and something top dollar, which still is affordable in today's market at a $100 price point with the Tom Ford. I hope that was helpful for you. Club de Nuit Urban Man Elixir or Intense Man, neither. Intense Man limited edition parfum. My last 5 or 6 buys are from Scent Bubbles recommendations. Hey, guys, if you really want to get fragrances that I recommend, I am putting out a best fragrances of 2024 starting next week. So tune into that. I'm going to give you guys 10 of my heaviest hitters for 2024, and you're going to want that list. I'm going to have links to everything for the most affordable prices, and I'm going to have a rankings list, and I'm going to give you an occasions list for all of them. We're going to go business, we're going to go casual, we're going to go upscale casual, we're going to go best freshie, we're going to go best office, best date night, best super formal, best nightlife. We're going to go through all the categories. I've smelled original Angel Share, and man, it was good, like whiskey, cinnamon, and dried fruits. Hey man, if you really loved Angel Share, you are gonna die for Amir Paris Corner's Fire Your Desire. Unlike many of the other Angel Share clones, this really nailed the cognac note. It's not whiskey, it's cognac. And the clones always miss the cognac note. They nail the cinnamon, the praline, the vanilla sweetness, but they always miss the cognac note, which is what this fragrance needs to stay masculine. This is drenched in cognac. Another close, I wouldn't even call it a close second, another tie for this is going to be Nero. I think it's French Avenue something Nero. French Royal Blend. Another close second, but I'm still going Fire Your Desire. What up, baby boy? What up, Shamil? Recommendation for an everyday clean fragrance. Creed Silver Mountain Water is cool, but go with one of those business fragrances, you know, the Star Walker. I mean, honestly, clean fragrances, you really shouldn't spend a lot of money on a clean fragrance. Calvin Klein Everyone, it's probably the cleanest fragrance you're going to come by. This is like a dryer sheet fresh out of the laundry with the tiniest fruit, mostly white floral edge. So it's like a very expensive dryer sheet. Calvin Klein Everyone is going to be a great clean choice. Another one that's very close to it, just as cheap, is spend $20 and get 100 ml of Banana Republic's 90 Pure White. If you're going clean. Creed Silver Mountain Water is like freshy with charm. It's not really clean smelling, even though it is. The charm of the fragrance is always in the citrus, in the woodiness, in the metallicness, but those are still like clean plus charming. If you're just going clean, go with my recommendations. Nyasia. Okay, Joel. Just screen shared that. Thank you. What website do you buy from? I buy from all kinds of websites, but for me, the best prices currently going on right now is fragrancebuy.ca, and for decants, scentdecant.com. Yeah, SoCal, the Mont Blanc Star Walker, don't expect the moon and the stars, but if you want a very, 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 very clean, linen, fresh fragrance with the tiniest bit of citrus, bergamot, and bamboo. Bamboo is just a slight woody vibe, but it's mostly just very clean. It's similar to Legend Spirit, but without all the synthetic citrus up front. It's more just very clean cut, office friendly. It's a good one. Just got Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male Parfum. How do you think about it? It's a good fragrance. It's very sweet, but it's a very good fragrance. I grabbed my bottle off Fragrance Net 4.2 for 27 bucks. Very nice. Scepter Malachite is okay. I give it a 7 out of 10. What do you think about Montal Vetiver? Was thinking about getting Terre de Hermes, or should I go with similar DNA? Any thoughts? If you're picking between those two, buddy, I would go with Terre de Hermes EDT. Easily. Very easily, Johnny. Blue Noir Parfum and Aqua Essenzial Blue from Ferragamo hit similar vibe for me. Just switch Blue Noir's powdery iris for Cardamom Amber base. I can agree with that. See, I love blue and she loves red. I think the sandalwood and the red is what makes it interesting, but blue is my style. I would completely agree with that. What's your thoughts on Azzaro Most Wanted EDP? It's a great fragrance. What's your top 3 projection beasts and top 3 most complimented scents? I have way too many. I don't have a top 3. I have way too many great projectors and most complimented. In fact, I never even understood people who have most complimented. I just don't think they wear enough of their fragrances. Guys, could you just give me 1 quick minute? I will be right back. Even if I lose viewers, I will be right back in 1 minute. I don't care. I'm a real person who has to take a piss. Okay, thank you guys so much for your patience. Yeah, see, Joel, I agree. I agree. Nautica Voyage is a starter fragrance. Nautica Voyage was the beginning of all of our journey. That's why we keep it around. It's a statue to never forget where we came from. I was wearing Nautica Voyage almost in the 90s, but basically the very, 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 very early 2000s. Yeah, I agree with that, Fendi, on the 1 million and the Azzaro Most Wanted. I feel that. Yeah, I would skip on it as well. I bought Mont Blanc Explorer today, and wow, it's fire. I'm surprised you love it like that. That's cool, Danny. Very cool. Expensive niche designer brands did research in each and every product they hire perfumers for that. Okay. So Vic Go is 26. And what did he ask? Dang it, Vic, what did you ask me, brother? Dang it, will somebody help me out with Vic? Vic is 26, and what was his question? Gosh dang it. I'm so sorry, guys. If I miss your questions, please type them out again. My chat's skipping all over the freaking place. Best loud fragrance? Hasavat. I have some cheap fragrances that smell better than some of my designer ones. Everyone has their own taste, 100%. If you want longevity, then just bathe in the fragrance, 100%. Don't need to bathe, just select the best brand. That's false. Brands don't equal longevity. Versace Eros is good for middle school. It's good for anything. What's a masculine gym cologne? Anything clean, anything linen, anything super fresh. Do you live in Arizona? Yes. Versace Eros, yep. Good winter cologne. Odyssey Ohm Black Edition. I'll be getting Lalique Ecus. Definitely get it, Vic. I have the lion head, although I do not think it's for everybody. I like it on me. Yeah, the lion head is very timeless fougere. The horse head Ecus is a much different fragrance, much more modern. It's not even really fougere-esque. Even though I think a lot of fougere heads would make a case that it is fougere. Just due to the amber and the vetiver. What do you think about Cremo, Black Spice, and Vanilla? Honestly, Omar, we don't discuss Cremo on this channel. I'm not docking Cremo. I think Cremo takes a lot of DNAs and makes them more like for dummies who don't want to think about fragrances and stuff. They just want to grab some body wash or some soap and feel a little bit more expensive. And they do that very well. Royal Blend, how close is it to the original? Very close. I don't think they nailed the cognac note as well as Amir Paris Corner Fire Your Desire, but close enough. I would put it in the top two best Angel Share clones of all time. For me, the best one is always Amir Paris Corner Fire Your Desire. How is that Richwood Amir cologne? It's very close. It's very close, Kicks. However, it has a bite on the end of it that I'm not the biggest fan of. But I got this bottle for free, so I'm not hating on it at all. Very close, but there's a note in the back that I feel the Noir de Noir clone, Club de Nuit Intense for Women, is actually almost identical to this DNA, but doesn't have that back note, a little bit more fresh. I think this is a much better fragrance than this in almost the exact same DNA path, even though this is not a Richwood clone. These are in the exact same wheelhouse, but this is done better. This isn't for everybody. Just received my first niche order. I'm excited to try them tomorrow. What'd you get, Malik? I bought Cough by Ahmed. It sucks. It feels like I'm wearing a detergent. I'm so sorry, Mohammed. So sorry you got that, buddy. Morning all the way from SA. Stuck between two choices, Lattafa Camera or Hugo Boss Bottled Absolute. Without question, Hugo Boss Bottled Absolute. 100% over Camera. You will have way more occasions to wear it. Can you suggest to me all seasons perfume with a pleasant smell under $30 or $40? I hate people who ask questions like that, Mohammed. Spring, summer, Versace Eros EDT, $40 or less, $30 to $40. Spring, summer, fall, winter, Armaf Odyssey Ohm Black Edition, holiday, cold weather, Amir Paris Corner Fire Your Desire. I have way more recommendations than that, but those three will handle all of your seasons just fine. But I think if you need a more gentlemanly scent, you can go with Ecus, $25. Those four fragrances will handle all your seasons perfectly. Thank you so much, Greenlee, for the transcriptions. Really appreciate that. Dubai Nights. Okay. Thank you so much, Santana. Appreciate that, man. I'm glad you picked up some bangers. Rose, why would you not want to smell rich? When people say they want to smell rich, they don't mean necessarily that they want you to feel like they make more money than they would if they didn't have the fragrance. What people really mean when they say they want to smell rich, luxurious, expensive, they want you to smell them, and they want your nose to go on a journey. They want that person to smell something that they perhaps have never smelled before. It smells new. It smells creative. It smells sophisticated. It's not something you could just smell once and you can remember the smell. They want you to smell something that when you smell it, it's either something you've never smelled before, or it's something that if they just walked by you one time, they'd have to walk by a couple times to really get the full experience of it, because the fragrance is telling a story. The fragrance is unraveling onto your nose and making you ask questions and making you want to discover all of the things going on in the fragrance. So that's what they mean smelling rich. Not necessarily how much money you have in your bank account. Of course, certain fragrances can make you smell like a CEO or a boss. But when we talk about expensive fragrances and stuff like that, the fragrance needs to have elements of things that don't remind you of something. It's something completely different from anything from your past experience or something you've gone through. Or the fragrance is a medley or a storyboard of different ideas and concepts that you like, that takes your nose on a journey, that each time you come to it, it gives you something new. That's what we mean rich fragrances. How about Celestial Amir? Is it good? It's phenomenal. It's 100% better than Mancera's Amir Cedrat Essence, even the Amir Cedrat Essence Intense. Best incense fragrances, probably Bentley Absolute and Mahir Legacy Black Edition. And Acqua di Gio Profumo. I just blind bought Joe Malone, Cypress, and Grapevine. What's your take on it? I haven't smelled it yet, V6. I haven't smelled it yet. What do you think about it? Do you have Valentino Green Extravaganza? I don't have it, but I've smelled it. I think it's okay. I think Valentino Uomo Intense is the best. I think the second best is Valentino Uomo Born in Roma is second best. Born in Roma is more romantic and everyday versatile. Uomo is just everyday versatile. It can go from casual to romantic. Oh, Creed, Vic. Thank you. Yeah, so if you're 26, in no particular order, the fragrances I would grab first from Creed is Absolute Aventus. Don't get Aventus Cologne. Don't get one of the original formulations of Aventus. Get Aventus Absolute. I think the latest rendition is the best one. Definitely get either Silver Mountain Water or Green Irish Tweed, just based off of what you like on the note breakdown more, because they're both good, but they're both of the same caliber. So it's kind of more of a, do you want more of an earthy, silver, metallic outdoors fragrance, or do you want more of a green outdoor fragrance, fresh? But you only need one of those two. So Aventus Absolute, either Green Irish Tweed or Silver Mountain Water, and then I would mix it up. So if you want, it would kind of probably, I think you're too young for Royal Oud. I would go something like, see, Royal Oud and Viking are really 35 and up fragrances, but they're really spectacular. Bois de Portugal is also up there in those same line of upscale fougere. I don't think you're ready for those yet. Shoot, maybe take a crack at Millesime Imperial. One second. Yeah, I would probably stop there, Vic. Nishane Hasavad is awesome. It is absolutely awesome. Is Victory Elixir worth it? I think there's a lot of clones that get to Victory Elixir, but buying Victory Elixir, just try and get the cheapest version of it you could possibly get. You don't need 100 ml of Victory Elixir. I would just get 50 ml or even 30 ml if you can. What summer frag should I buy? I don't know, Blake. I need more context. I got that Amouage Reflection 45 Leighton and Cedrat Boise, a bunch of samples. Oh, and a bunch of samples. Okay. I'm surprised that you went with Amouage, Malik. Very, very unique fragrances from Amouage. I'm curious which one out of those three you like the best, 45 Leighton or Cedrat Boise. My guess would be Leighton, but let me know. Is gin and tonic good? I don't know. What's the best designer to get right now? I think the most versatile designer right now to get that has the biggest bag of fragrances is probably Bentley, to be honest with you. Bentley has about 15 to 20 different fragrances, and like 90% of them are all insane, and you can get them all for under 35 bucks. Lalique is another great designer house, super slept on. You can get almost every one of their fragrances for under $40. And I mean, they've got an insane amount of bangers. Lalique White, Lalique Ecousse, Lalique Pour Homme, Lalique à l'Extrême, Lalique Insume, Lalique Ombre Noir, or Ombre Nomad. They just got a huge bag. Other designers that have like a deep bag, maybe YSL. You can get La Nuit de L'Homme, L'Homme, YSL Y. And then there's one other one that I'm forgetting. I wouldn't recommend YSL myself. If you're a Versace fanboy, you know, you can get Eros, Flame, and Energy and be cool, but I'm not a big fan of those. Yeah, I'm going with if I could beat almost every designer in Sephora off of just Lalique and Bentley fragrances alone. Amir, Fire Your Desire is more cognac heavy to the original or just the same? The same. It doesn't have more cognac than Angel Share. It just is, out of all the clones tend to lack the cognac note. And Fire Your Desire to me is one of the only clones that has the cognac note, which is the only reason as a man you should want Angel Share, is because that cognac note is what keeps it truly unisex. Without it, you just have a feminine leaning unisex fragrance. So I don't even think it's exactly the same as Angel Share, but it's so close comparatively that it makes all the other clones look ridiculous. Been wearing YSL Wild Leather since Monday. I'm hooked. You should sample it. I'll definitely try it, Johnny. Thank you so much. Armaf tag. Oh, man, we made it to the bottom. Praise God. Okay. Armaf tag him Uomo Rosso, another banger PR Invictus Victor Elixir clone. Okay. Thank you for that recommendation, Santana. What do you think about Ab Tabak, a.k.a. Smokey by Maison Alhambra? I haven't tried it, Omar. I haven't tried it. Absolutely loving Leighton. I bought the Alharmain Amber Oud exclusive, blue Leighton twist, and just fell in love with the scent profile. I had to get the original. That's beautiful, Malik. That's awesome. Time to go in time out, Joseph. Good night, man. Have your mom tuck you in tonight. You are the GOAT for answering all the questions. Hey, I'm here for you guys, man. I don't make nothing off this channel. Right now. That's all going to change really soon. But y'all know I'm for the people, man. We got about 500,000 views on this channel in 90 days. Not making a dime. And I would do it all again. In a heartbeat. All right, guys. I'm going to give you guys one more minute to ask all your final questions while I sip some tea. Give me 1 minute. I'll be back to answer all your last minute questions for the night. By the way, I see there's 30 people in here and only 14 likes. If you guys could do me a solid, please like the video, so that every time we go live, a lot of people can flood in the chat like you've seen, my moderators, my transcribers, and my great friends who are just asking all the good questions. These lives are only live and fun because of the people who are in chat. And so when you load up those likes, YouTube tells the algorithm, hey, when Scent Bubble goes live, show this video to a bunch of people from around the world, and they do that every time. Our lives always in total hit between 2,000 and 5,000 people of traffic that come in within the hour or two that we run live. So when you guys run those numbers up, it actually benefits you because you have a more widespread audience that interacts in the chat. You're not just getting the wealth of information from me, but as you guys are listening through my answers, you're also getting a ton of really cool people who love fragrance just as much as you in the chat. So it's not for me, it's for you. All right, I'm gonna give you guys that 1 minute to ask your questions. I'll be right back, guys. Love y'all.
So I just do it because I lied.
All right, guys, I'm back. Let's answer all these last minute questions and get out of here for the night. Any thoughts on Arabian Tonka? I'm enjoying Al Haramain, Amber Oud, Dubai Night, and I read that it has a twist on Arabian's Tonka, but I'm not sure if I should go for it or the original. I would go for the original, buddy. I would go for the original. Out of all of my clones and Middle Eastern fragrances, Tarathi Blue is by far my favorite, and I like it more than a lot of very expensive scents. Thoughts? If you like Tarathi Blue, go with Lalique Icus next. $20 to $25, designer house. It will take everything you love about Tarathi Blue and give you something much more masculine, little less playful, more sophisticated, and a lot more versatile. Tarathi Blue is a great fragrance, but it stays playful. There's nothing hyperly masculine about it. There's not a lot of sophistication with it. It is basically a lot of bright, watery citrus sitting on a little bit of amber. Icus ramps up the amber, puts vetiver behind it to give it a little more earthiness, but still stays a vibrant, happy, lively citrus fragrance. But moving from, you can't really rock Tarathi Blue on a date night or with a collared shirt or with a suit. Any of those upscale casual, semi-formal, date night informal, you can't really rock Tarathi Blue. It's strictly a playful fragrance that's fun. It's a little bit sophisticated, but you'd wear it by the water, you'd wear it casually running errands, things like that. Maybe you go to school, you'd wear it in that setting, going out for the day. It's fun. But when you need a fragrance to really give you some manhood, but still have some of that DNA, Icus is gonna be an incredible transition fragrance for you. That's just gonna make you feel a little more expensive, a little more luxurious, a little more manly. But it's gonna remind you of that same DNA of citruses. But these citruses are more sophisticated and more manly, more luxurious. So definitely give that a shot. It's a cheap fragrance, but it's a designer house, and many people on the channel have purchased it, really love it. Layton smells awesome. My favorite is Al Haramain Detour Noir. Hi, recently bought Gentleman's Society Extreme, but then it almost smelled like Stronger With You Absolutely Intense. Is that a problem? I don't think that's a problem. If you could pick one, BIR or PDM, what's BIR? What's BIR? Am I tired? I know Parfums de Marly, but what's BIR? If I had to pick a Parfums de Marly, I'd pick Carlisle any day of the week. But I don't know BIR. Tell me what BIR is. Best La Ligue frag to blind buy. Ecus. Every day of the week. EQUUS. Ecus. 100%. Any day of the week. Is La Ligue white any good? It's a really good fragrance, but it's very light. It's a very masculine, clean, bright, airy fragrance. It's very masculine though. I would say if you're under 25, don't wear it. It's 25 and up. One of the best clean, fresh fragrances out there. It's very sophisticated for a clean fragrance. But if you want like a very easy grab, everyday go out, it's kind of unique, but it's still very clean and upscale. White is a very good choice. But don't expect the moon and the stars from it because it's mainly just a very masculine, clean, slightly upscale, everyday fragrance. I would actually recommend, maybe Ecus, then Insume, if you can find it. Then kind of move on to like, Ecus, Insume. Then maybe Ombre Noir or Ombre Nomad or A l'Extrême or La Ligue White. That would be like the third fragrance is one of those, but I think you have to start with Ecus and Insume with La Ligue and then work your way down. What do you think about the new Gucci Guilty Love Edition? I haven't tried the new Gucci Guilty Love Edition, but I have tried Gucci Guilty Elixir, the green bottle, recently, and I was actually really impressed with it. They have that note of orris root in it, which is in Tom Ford's Grey Vetiver. And so for that, I actually thought it was really nice. Gucci Guilty Elixir, I would highly recommend. I thought it was like a 9 out of 10 fragrance. I think Tom Ford's Grey Vetiver is a 10 out of 10. Gucci Guilty Elixir is about a 9 out of 10, but still really good utility fragrance. It could be boss, it could be suit and tie, it could be collared shirt, upscale, luxurious, rich, boss smelling fragrance. I haven't tried the Love Edition. Yeah, I saw that, Greenlee. I commented on that post. I really appreciate that, man. Greenlee, if you have a cell phone, like an iPhone, and you have the app Discord, I'd love to have you on Wheel of Fragrance, just for fun. Well, I know for a fact that any clone is going to be weaker just by a little to the original Angel Share. That's the part of it where there's a reason that fragrance is $200-300. So it doesn't matter though, because that's a gourmand fragrance, all you need to do is just spray more to get the performance. So it's almost like if the clone, 4 sprays of the clone is equal to like 2 sprays of the original, well then you just overspray it and you'll get the same performance. But because it's a gourmand base, cinnamon, vanilla, and all that, all of them are 8 hours plus fragrances. Angel Share might sit on your pillow the next day, but quite frankly, nobody cares about that. If you can get through an 8-hour shift with a fragrance, that's an incredible performer. And Royal Blend Nero, as well as, or French Avenue Royal Blend, as well as Fire Your Desire, are gonna get you 8 hours plus. If you want them to hit the 10-hour mark because you're that anal about an extra 2 hours, even though nobody cares, spray it 6 to 8 times on your skin and you'll get that performance. Just because the 1-to-1 comparison of longevity isn't the same and a fragrance might be weaker than the other one, like one spray of this equals 2 sprays of that, doesn't mean you can't just add more sprays to get the same performance as the other fragrance. If you care that much, then just spend the extra $250 that you're saving on the clone for the original. I think a lot of people look too much into performance and they forget that you could just spray more. And I would also say that Fragrantica is only right 50% of the time. They can't even nail the notes down. We did this recently where we picked up 16 of the highest bought designer fragrances and we saw what the box said the notes were versus what Fragrantica said, and only half of them had the exact notes as the box. So it's like, if they're not even gonna list the notes correctly of what the fragrance is saying it is, how can you expect people's votes on the longevity to be the same? Can a 15-year-old wear Rasasi Hawass? Of course. In fact, I would venture to argue that only 15-year-olds wear Rasasi Hawass. In fact, only people that really wear Rasasi Hawass that are older than 15 is just because maybe their first 5 or 10 fragrance purchases ever, Rasasi Hawass was in that bunch and they don't own a lot of fragrances, so they still wear Hawass. But yeah, Rasasi Hawass is perfect for a 15-year-old. I would actually recommend Rasasi Hawass Ice if you haven't already made your purchase, but Hawass is cool too. Thoughts on YSLY EDP? It's a phenomenal fragrance, Nabil. You'll love it. Thoughts on YSLY Le Parfum, please. I think the EDP's better. I think the EDP's better. The Le Parfum is just a slight twist on the formulation. I think you're paying more money for not a lot of difference, not a lot of extra signature. I would go with the EDP. The Le Parfum is good. It's good, but EDP is more of a staple. Other than Icus, other Lalique recommendations. Honestly, I would buy Icus and Insume first, and if you love those, consider the following: A la Extreme, Lalique White, Lalique Black and White, and Lalique Ombre Noir or Ombre Nomad. I forget the name. It's either Ombre Noir or Ombre Nomad. Consider one of those three. Look on the note breakdowns and see which one you might like more. They're all good, but you will lean towards one of the three. But Insume and Icus are must-haves. Then from there, you can pick between 4. Lalique Pour Homme, Lalique à la Extreme, or Encre Noir à la Extreme, Ombre Noir, or Lalique White or Lalique Black and White. It might be 5. Oh, Born in Roma. Okay, my bad. Okay, so yeah, if I had to pick one Born in Roma, I mean, honestly, I mean, it would just be Uomo Born in Roma. Valentino Uomo Born in Roma. But I think Valentino Uomo Intense is way more versatile than Born in Roma. So I wouldn't even narrow it down to Born in Roma, to be honest with you. Introduce me to some YSLY clone, please. Latafa Fakhar Black. Fahker, the black bottle with the silver round plate on the stem. That will get you a YSLY EDP clone. Price aside, which Sauvage flanker has the best DNA? I'm not too sure on that one, Fendi. Matter of fact, somebody in the chat answer that question for Fendi, please. I'm not the biggest Sauvage fan, so I haven't gone through all the best DNAs for it as far as flankers are concerned. Did you try the Thomas Cosmala house? I haven't, Nabil. I'm sorry. Just liked and subbed. Hidden Gem channel. Thank you, Jag. Trust me, you'll get all your value, buddy. We drop content every single day. I've just ordered Yeah EDP, which is a clone of YSLY. I actually think Fakhar Black is better, but Yeah is really great too. You won't be upset about that tan. You'll enjoy it. I like the original Born in Roma now. All I smell is cardamom in the Coral Fantasy. Yeah, I can see that, Fendi. What is the best fragrance you have ever smelled, not considering performance or projection? Sorry for the loaded question. I can't answer that question right now, especially not at the end of the stream. What I will say is that this week, I have been blown away by Mancera Vetiver Sensual, and I've really been enjoying the refill on my Tom Ford Gray Vetiver. And then some unique flanks that I have also been enjoying in the background is Nishane Hasavat, Narciso Rodriguez Blue Noir Parfum, and 8 and Bob Egypt. By the way, guys, the 2025 release of Dior Homme Parfum is absolute garbage. Offnon 9 p.m. is a clone of JPG Ultra Male. Yeah, but it isn't the best tan. If you want an Ultra Male clone, get Lattafa Ram Silver. 9 p.m. is a twist. You know, it's like Lattafa's Assad is supposed to be a Dior Sauvage clone, but it isn't. It's only like 80%. It goes in a different direction. Same thing with 9 p.m. It's like 80% Ultra Male, goes in a different direction. Get Lattafa Ram Silver for like $17, and that'll be the closest, a lot closer to Ultra Male than 9 p.m. Oh, thank you so much, Exile. Thank you so much. That's incredible, man. Thumbs up for Exile, man. What a great guy. He's donated 3 times already. What an incredible guy. You could get Fakar Black from Burlington. You could also get Lattafa Ram Silver from Burlington. Yes, yes. Insumi Insumi is hard to find right now because sometimes it goes offline. It sells so freaking fast that it's hard to grab. But I believe right now Joma has it. Joma might be one of the only places that has it. I think maybe 1 or 2 other places has it, but it's on back order right now. So even if you order it, it's gonna take like 3 weeks to get to you. But I'm telling you right now, every time that fragrance comes out, it is sold out. I just ordered it like 2 weeks ago, and I'm only just now about to get it this week. I was so pissed off. I was so mad. It's the longest I've had to wait for a fragrance, but I had to buy it again, man. Just trust me. Now, I'll definitely try the Thomas Cosmala House. Appreciate it, Nabil. Have you tried Spice Bomb Dark Leather? Yeah, it's trash. It's not worth your money. It smells good. It doesn't smell like it's worth its money. It's too subtle. It's not unique. They just took some leather, made it a little bit dark, and gave it terrible performance. I was so mad at Dark Leather. It was like, they didn't even do anything to make it special. There's nothing special about it. It's very generic. For a leather fragrance, it's absolutely dog water. No one should ever in a million years buy Dark Leather. It was such a letdown fragrance. I'm in South Florida. I like fresh fragrances. Hey, I'm in Arizona. I love fresh fragrances. Speaking of Ultra Male, why is it like hidden among all the Jean Paul Gaultiers? I don't know what you mean, Jag. I like the incense note. Honestly, bro, when you smell Dark Leather in comparison to Spice Bomb Infrared, hell, even as far as Spice Bomb or spicy vanillic fragrances, even going over to Tom Ford Noir, Tom Ford Noir Extreme, Noir de Noir, like bro, even our Moth Odyssey Black Edition is better than Dark Leather. And it don't even have leather in it, but it gives you so much more of a beautiful fragrance and has a dark, mysterious quality to it and has those spices, has a little bit of that incense in it. The leather note in Dark Leather is so utterly generic. It's just plain. Like, you want to convince yourself that Dark Leather is good because in the opening it smells really beautiful, but Give yourself 5 minutes with that on your skin and go walk outside. You won't even freaking smell it on you unless you cake on the sprays. And after the first hour, that fragrance is freaking gone. And not only that, but even if the fragrance stayed, it's so whack of a DNA. They gave it no real dimension. Just single notes of it pop out at a time. That fragrance is freaking trash. Especially, you compare that to Spice Bomb Infrared. Hell, even the freaking green bottle of Spice Bomb is better than that crap. That fragrance pissed me off. I have a hot take of it where I'm sitting in my car, I sprayed it fresh on, and it just was a disappointment, man. It makes leather fragrances look very generic. Okay. Young women from ages, and I gotta go, guys, so I'm just gonna keep it at this and we'll call it a day. Young women who are 20, this is general, guys. Nothing I say is black and white. It's all in context. It's very general. Women 25 and under love sweeter, dominant fragrances because it smells like something they would wear. You know, it's almost like having a fur couch. They like the fur couch in your house because they can lay on it and it's something they would have gotten in their own house. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a really dumb concept, but sweetness is such a familiar note to a girl 25 and down. As a woman gets older, 25 and up, they still love sweetness, but they want elements that make you feel more manly, stuff that has nothing to do with womanhood. Edginess, herbals, aromatics, fougere, ambers, earthiness. They need the fragrance to be reminding them of the opposite sex, not reminding them of their own sex. So sweet still totally works with 25 and up, but the difference is 25 and down, sweetness is the leading role. Fragrances can be 50 to 70% sweet forward, with the complexity happening in that last bit of 20 to 30%. Whereas the older you get, the more the roles kind of shift. Once you're 25 and up, the only fragrances that stay super sweet are your seasonal fragrances. You know, a super romantic night, Thanksgiving, Christmas, super cold weather. That's it. Mostly what happens is the roles reverse. Now, very masculine fragrances, 50 to 70% of the fragrance is actually occupied by herbal, earthy, aromatics, ambers, sometimes even florals, mineralics, metallics, earthiness. And then the supporting role becomes the sweet touches, so that it's still slightly familiar to the woman and makes her head turn, but the intrigue of it is all the stuff they can't identify with. They can't identify with the rich, earthy density. They can't identify with the metallics. They can't identify as much with the aromatics. They can't identify as much with the herbals. They can't identify as much with the woods. They can't identify as much with the resins. They can't identify as much with the incense. You know what I'm saying? And that makes a woman feel like she's dealing with a man, the opposite sex, because the DNAs become opposite of what they're familiar to. Young girls want their men to basically smell like them, which is why the sweet fragrances rock. Amongst the young people, the YSL line, the Jean-Paul Gaultier line, the Spice Bomb line, all 70% forward in sweetness with the complexity in the background. As you get older, as a man, you're no longer intrigued. This is how I liken it to. When you're younger, you love Kool-Aid. You love soda. When you get older, you like fresh squeezed juice, less sugar. You like more of the natural flavor of the beverage to come out. When you get into liquors when you're young, you might do Bacardi, you might do Hennessy. You know, when you get older, you're messing with whiskeys and cognacs and spirits, stuff that's more other than sugar forward with a little bit of sweet or a little bit of citrus in the back, more dimension to it, more rough edge. So again, that's a very generic rule of thumb, but you'll find that the main difference between fragrances by and large that somebody 25 to 50 years old would wear in comparison to somebody who's 15 to 25 is the star note almost always is sweetness with the tiniest support of sophistication, whereas 25 and up typically tends to be the sophistication and everything is all up front and the sweetness is in the back. And again, that excludes holidays, it excludes date night, you know, it excludes super cold weather, bangers and stuff like that. I'm just talking generic rule of thumb. I hope that gives you guys a good picture. I think that there's some psychology to that. You know, for instance, like women who grew up with a really strong, manly man in the house, or like a grandfather figure, or like an older man growing up, all these men were wearing fougères and stuff. So they couldn't even picture their dads smelling sweet. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a certain psychology to that of like stuff that just reminds them of their father growing up and stuff like that. So I think there's that element to it, but I think there's also just an element of how long can you wear the note of sweet or candy or sugar or vanilla before it just gets super played out and the girl is like, I've been there, I've done that. I want a man who could bring me something I haven't smelled before or something I'm unfamiliar with that looks attractive and then has the part played, but still has some soft, sweet touches to still have the allure and the draw, but the character of the fragrance is, no, this is something you've never experienced before. And women like that. Women like the inexplainable, the edginess, the who is that, the mystere, the intrigue, the scratch their head. And older women fall into that intent more than the younger women. The younger women, I could rub sugar water on my arm and pull like 10 girls for no reason because the average guy they walk by doesn't even have a fragrance on in the first place. So the draw is a lot easier there. I don't know, guys. I could be talking out of my butt, but y'all know me, man. I've done a lot of living, man. I've had a lot of wearing experience, especially with the ladies. Praise God, I've been with my wife now for 15 years, so I don't have to worry about any of that. But my wife's a great-looking woman, so I know what I'm talking about in that category. And before I was with my wife, I had plenty of dates and female, wearing experiences in the dating arena where I tried a lot of different fragrances and got a lot of feedback. So between that and just having a big gang of fellas that wear fragrance, you know, you get a good sense of the psychology behind what is alluring in a fragrance and how that changes as you age. I don't know, guys. Hey, thank you so much for rocking with the scent bubble. If I didn't answer any of your questions, please put it in the comments, and I would be happy to answer those questions within a 24-hour period. I always go back in there and answer your guys' questions. Normally, I do it right after the stream, but I'm really tired tonight. I need to get some sleep. Wasn't expecting to be on as late as I was, but I'm so thankful for the new followers and the new interactions in the chat. We do our best to clean up all the trolls so that all the conversation in here is very wholesome, very informative, and very entertaining for you guys. And love you guys to death. Appreciate that you guys are in here hanging out with me. Exile, so much love for all the donos that you've put in here and your interactions. I really cherish that. You're one of the very few people who has sent me money on this channel so far, and it will not be forgotten. Thank you to my boy Greenlee, who always does the beautiful transcriptions and lets you guys know the fragrances that I rant about that I definitely don't have the time to type in chat. Thank you so much to Joel for moderating and sweeping out all the trolls. And thank you to you guys for asking all the great questions and making me stay on the chat. Because to be quite frank with you, if chat was not as poppin' as it was, my lives would only be about 15 to 20 minutes long. I'm a grown man with bills to pay and life to live. But you guys get cracking in chat every single night, and somehow we get to the 1 hour, 2 hour, sometimes even 2.5 hour marker. And it's just incredible, guys. Going live for me has been more fruitful than any other form of content I've put on this channel, which is why I've started to go live more, because it just touches so many more people and gets people a live take on everything and the personality and everything who I am behind what I put into my videos. And you guys know when you see me in my lives that I'm the same guy that you guys see freestyling all my videos and spitting truth to you guys. I'm just sharing my very regular fragrance journey with you, hoping to be as resourceful as I can and as truthful as I can, introducing you guys to everything from generic all the way to upscale fragrances and giving you guys a place to start, progress, and build and enjoy your fragrance journey. This is the Scent Bubble, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, be blessed.